Yeah, man. So the topic of this video today is going to be fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it because I wanted to actually talk about something I have been observing quite some time in these social media streets and in greater politics and pretty much in the news cycle. I've been noticing a whole lot of the queens, um, with fake titles and fake accolades and fake accomplishments, or the accolades and titles may be real, but they cheated en route to get to those accolades, get to those credentials, so forth and so on. What do y'all think about that, man? What do y'all think about that? I'll tell you something. This is something that I've known about for a long time. I've known about a lot of stuff for a long time, but this is something that I've seen for years. And I think now is the time that we talk about it. The reason I bring it up now is because recently a content creator and doctor, allegedly by the name of Cheyenne Bryant, showed up on the Cam Newton show, and she had a discussion with Cam Newton. And according to some of the people that watched that podcast, they felt like she set Cam Newton straight about his life, and they talked about her accolades, and, all the black girl magic stuff. And, come to find out, thanks to Corey Holcomb, shout out to Corey Holcomb, that this chick, that there's something that doesn't add up with the story, that she's likely not a doctor. Now, initially, Corey called in the questions her credentialism as a doctor and where she got her degree from. As far as her degree, where she got it from, I'm not going to trip because she got it from an online school that closed. That happens. And as a person who did a large part of my college education, both at the undergrad and graduate level, I took a lot of online courses that were connected to bigger universities, of course. But so I don't trip on the online thing. The college experience is overrated because I've told you all before, you're supposed to get an education when you go to a college campus, but all you really learn how to do is drink, do illicit drugs, have a whole lot of fornication, and how to hate your parents and be a communist Marxist. That's all you learn on a campus. And so I'm not tripping at anybody who gets an education outside the campus, because the campus is trash and you wind up and you also learn how to get a whole bunch of student loan debt. So I'm not tripping on that. I'm not tripping on the fact that the school she allegedly got her PH or PSYD because she's allegedly a psychology expert. She's not a psychologist, but she's a psychology expert. Allegedly, she got this through a university that ended up closing, and I guess lost its credentials. The problem with that is that if you have any kind of doctorate degree and you went to a board, well, having a doctorate degree is one thing. That's an academic achievement. Okay. But if you are a practicing professional at that level, you have to go to a board and get credentialed. And from what we're seeing, you know, there's no record of licensing or credentialing for Cheyenne Bryant. So from this point forward, until I see proof that she is, I'm not calling her a doctor. You know, it is what it is. So, but you see a lot of stuff like this. A few months back, you had the situation with Claudine Gay, who was the president she was the dean president of Howard, and there was an issue with her allowing pro-Palestine protests on the Harvard campus, which it obviously garnered the ire of many of the Jewish donors who made the move to get rid of her, and they went through her academic record and found out she had several instances of plagiarism. She basically, it was more than 1, 2, or 3. It was like 12. It was some insane number. It was well over 10. So basically, she cheated academically on her way to her degree, and this is something I've been telling y'all about for years, that a lot of these the strong and independent queens, they cheat academically. I've seen it. I've been approached to help somebody try to cheat academically, and I refused because I was like, hey, I got my own problems. I don't need my problems and your problems too. But they cheat academically. They what you see a lot of times with these sororities. You see them cheat. You see them. They teach their sorors how to cheat, and that ain't all they do. There's also some deals being cut with professors. Some bind fixing. Some bind fixing happens. En route to that degree. I know for sure at the undergrad level. And I've seen it at the undergrad level. Because although most of my education was done off campus and through distance learning and through, satellite installations and online, there were times I did have to go to campus for certain classes where I just couldn't get around it. The only way to get that class was I had to go to a campus, and you see stuff. You see stuff. And so, yeah, just some of that stuff is cheating. And I also talk about a certain ethnic group that they cheat a lot too. But that's another video. And we're going to discuss that. And that will be a video related to our current vice president and presidential candidate. She's adjacent, to a demographic that tends to they kind of cheat a lot in school. They have a reputation for being, academically, superior, but I know that, that they succumb to the pressure of cheating in order to maintain their reputation. So, yeah. But getting back to Cheyenne Bryant, Cheyenne Bryant and Claudine Gay, you have that, and I'll tell you, I'm not tripping on other people calling Cheyenne Bryant a doctor, because I understand Black American culture. Black America, it's a gynocratic, matriocentric culture, and there's a lot of gratuitous accolades and patronizing given to Women, straight up, you know, that whole title of the queens, you know, people who have never descended from royalty, you know, calling them all queens, just, you know, flat queendom. That's the main example. Queens, goddesses, all of that stuff, you know. So, and overstating accomplishments and different things like that, and that's part of the culture. It is part of the culture. So, with people calling her doctor because she can string together some sentences that sound really, you know, deep and really sound academically salacious, different things like that, you know, I'm not surprised. I'm not tripping on other people calling her that, but you know, the thing with her, you know, not really correcting it, yeah, you could say that's an issue. You know, but funny thing, again, going back to myself at work, when I was working before I retired, they started calling me a doctor and using my last name, and this was because, you know, I'm pretty educated, you know, beyond the undergrad level. You know, I do have a master's degree, but also I would come up with solutions for a lot of problems and stuff, and just basically, you know, coming up with ways to innovate and improve things involved in work. And so I would get called doctor in my last name. So, you know, that being said, I you know, I didn't professionally, you know, present myself as doctor because I'm not a doctor. You know, I mean, the name was it was a great compliment, but I'm not a doctor, you know, and I don't pretend to be one. So so anyway, you know, with her really not correcting her audience and letting them know I'm not a doctor, but I play one on social media, but or people that really find my information useful, they refer to me as a doctor. If she said something like that, I'm cool. But no, she just run with it and, you know, be taking all kinds of, you know, selfies and, you know, with these pseudo inspirational sayings and stuff like that. You know, it can be problematic, especially when you go on these bigger platforms and you're leading with "I'm a doctor," which is what she did on the Cam Newton show. That's a problem. That's a problem because it's like Dr. Phil. If you ain't practicing no more, you let your license expired. Are you really a doctor? You know, I mean, I guess I don't know what are you all's thoughts. Do me a favor, put your thoughts. If you're here watching this, put your thoughts in the chat. Or if you're watching this video as part of the playback game, say something in the comments. Let me know what you all think about that because I do think that it's somewhat of an issue. You know, especially if you're giving life advice and stuff. I don't know that could be a problem. You know, moving on to speaking of titles, you have the situation where everybody's an entrepreneur. With certain words and terms going into 2025, they need to be buried in the back with the pretty flowers. And that's entrepreneur, fiance, partner, narcissist, it's giving, all of that stuff. It is they become trash terms because they're used for so many things and they're just thrown about so irresponsibly that now they don't mean anything. You know, and one of those terms again is entrepreneur. Let's move over to Kiara Henderson. Kiara Henderson is a trucking guru. She's a trucking guru who got pretty much exposed a few months back for being basically a fraud, you know. But the thing about it is, you know, there's really no governing body that says a person is an entrepreneur or not, or a guru or not. And you got people that, you know, they walk around, I'm a guru, or I'm an entrepreneur. It's a garbage term. And this is another one of those, you know, gratuitous accolades that the gynocracy, that the sisterhood tends to lay upon each other, you know, that with no real teeth behind it, with no real meat behind it. It's, you know, it's another example of fake it where you make it. Fake it until you make it. I'm sorry. But, you know, Kiara Henderson was exposed for being a, you know, fake trucking entrepreneur. You know, she got her money by scamming people. She was a rent hustler. You know, different things like that. She, you know, it basically scammer culture. But, you know, she got on quite a few platforms and was able to pass herself off as a trucking entrepreneur, you know. And this just doesn't, this not only happens in the non-medical area, we're seeing it happen in the medical area. Enter Dr. Wendell Boutte. Dr. Wendell Boutte was allegedly a plastic surgeon operating out of the Atlanta, Georgia area. Who she used to dance. She used to do like little dance clips on TikTok while she had her patients under anesthesia for surgeries. And so after several botched surgeries and several complaints about TikTok videos, you know, possible HIPAA violations, so forth and so on, it was discovered that she's not really a plastic surgeon. It was discovered that she's not really a plastic surgeon. She was doing surgeries. She exploited a loophole in Georgia law that I believe she was like an allergy doctor who, because she did have a medical background, she was a doctor. She's like an allergist or something. She was able to basically register herself as a plastic surgeon without going through the education, the residency, so forth and so on, to become, you know, a legit plastic surgeon. You know, I'm telling you, man, we're going to see. There's a lot of it out there, and it's not just. It wasn't just her. You know, we just had a situation last year where you had thousands of women across the country in predominantly urban areas and cities where, you know, there's a certain demographic. There's a lot of them that have fake nursing degrees. It happened here in Florida, especially down there in the Miami area. And the nurses make big money down there. They make really good money. But some of those nurses had fake nursing degrees. Come to find out, they got their degrees from a degree mill. So, you know, it's we're going to see a whole lot more of this, especially after the 2024 election. There's going to be a whole lot more of this stuff being exposed because there's a whole lot of fake There's a whole lot of fake it till you make it going on out there. And the thing about these fakers, they're pointing a finger at other people. And so it's going to come back and bite them, you know. It's going to be a whole lot of tap dancing, a whole lot of, claims of isms. Y'all know what my whole thing with the isms are. You're going to see a whole lot of claims with that. With the whole, they're ism against us. They're practicing the isms. It's going to happen, man. So it's going to be interesting going forward, and it really doesn't matter who wins the election. Now that I think about it, there's going to be a whole lot. There's going to be a lot of crazy just happening after this 2024 election, no matter who wins. So y'all know I'm Team Trump. Like I said, I've been rocking with Trump since 2015. Even with I don't agree with him 100%, but I agree with him enough to vote for him. Against his other opponents. I mean, he ain't perfect. He's not. But I like him, and I rock with him better than his competition. Anyway, it doesn't matter who wins the election. There's going to be a lot more scrutiny with certain people placed in certain positions and the accolades that they claim to have and the accolades bestowed upon them. And there's going to be a lot of questioning of, hey, are you really suited for this job? Do you have what it takes to have this job or this position? And I think it's overdue, especially if these people are asking for student loan forgiveness and stuff. Hey, listen, you want all of these special exceptions and you want all of these privileges and special considerations and stuff. Are you worth that time and that effort? Are you worth that time and that effort? But you have a lot of people that, man, they're faking it until they make it, or they want to jump in at the finish line and cross the finish line and stuff. And so there's got to be a reset. There's got to be more scrutiny given different groups. And I'm not, and it's not just the Queens, but it's really everybody, especially now. The stakes are higher because we're inviting. There's an influx of new people coming into the country, so there's going to be increased competition for jobs and stuff. We're seeing the rise of the boule, the cronyist and nepotism is still alive and well. Then you got the white female feminists who are vying for power and using waging lawfare against their own brothers and fathers and uncles and waging they're waging lawfare against white men to to transfer wealth and to take over positions. Lawfare is very different than warfare. The women have the advantage, especially nowadays. So you got a whole lot of that stuff going, man. So this is stuff that we're going to have to look out for. We're going to have to watch, and we're going to have to document. And I think that's what I'm going to be documenting more, because it's going to affect a lot going forward. Policy, it's going to affect the economy. It's going to affect the ability to get jobs and different things like that. Because there's going to be a civil lawfare going. You can't say warfare, but there's going to be a whole lot more battles on the civil front, on the legal battles and stuff. So and that's going to set the stage and dictate the direction that the U.S. is going to go in. And I'd say most likely not a good direction. So we'll see. We'll see. Other than that, I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about this some more because I think this needs a deeper dive. So I think I'm going to do a part 2 about this a little bit later. And we're going to talk about it because there's a whole lot of faking going on. It's not just the BBLs. It's not just the eyelashes and the wigs and the weaves and the girdles and the, Spanx and stuff like that. There's a whole lot of faking with meritocracy. Those y'all know what I call degrees. I call degrees the indentured servitude certificates. That's one of the names I call them. I also call them, I'm a good white person now certificates. A lot of people think the degrees make them better. The degrees just enable you to do a job that pays a little more money. And when I say little, I mean it because there are people who have trades or that do sales that make far more money than people with degrees. But people with degrees are people that want to dress up and go to work, be able to wear their favorite cologne or perfume, and to work in an air-conditioned environment. That's all it is. They, titles. I'm Dr. So-and-so. It's the corporate version of the church. Yeah. All the deacons and ushers and all of that shit that they like to bring up like it's important. It really don't mean anything, outside that outside that environment. But that's the a lot of these titles, these corporate or titles in academia, they don't mean anything in the real world because bottom line, the money is not there, and now with certain degrees, like law degrees and certain, titles like becoming a lawyer, everybody's a lawyer now. Everybody's a lawyer. You go somewhere like New York, California, everybody's an actor, everybody's a lawyer. Everybody's a financial advisor. It's stuff that everybody's doing it, so it don't mean anything. It's like having a handicap placard in Florida. Everybody has one, so they're meaningless, they're useless. But we're gonna talk about this stuff some more later, man. And when I do the second show, I want some of y'all to come up, man. I want you all to get engaged and talk about this stuff. I might reach out to a couple of the homies and we'll talk about it because I think it's going to be I think there's going to be more exposure on the subject going forward. Anyway, thank you all for joining. I appreciate you. This is Mr. Royce of Royce Media. Do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe. Get in the comment section. Let your friends know. Give the video a thumbs up or thumbs down if you don't like it. Give it a thumbs down. It is what it is. I can't make everybody like you, but I appreciate you being here nonetheless. And we're going to talk later. Take it easy.